Hi guys, how you guys doing? I just want to do some bed rant. Um, I've been thinking a lot about quantum mechanics lately. Maybe it's because it challenges my brain. I didn't say that very intelligently, did I? It challenges my brain. Um, I like things that challenge me, um, and I often get more questions than answers, and I often wonder if I'm even asking the right questions. If I'm asking the wrong questions, how can I even the answers may be meaningless or hurtful. But I think anyway, I just keep thinking, and maybe I can. Uh, I mean, what are the chances I can solve any kind of quantum mechanics problem when there's so many other people that are also working on it, and we don't even know if anybody can? The problem may be impossible for all humans, and even if one person can solve it, what are the chances that person is going to be me? Yet I still think about it. So probably, with all probability indicates I'm wasting my time, either because it's impossible, or because I'm not going to be the one that solves anything. But I think anyway, might as well. What have I got to lose, right? Maybe I'll share some of those thoughts again, some more in this rant. Um, yeah, uh, I yeah, let me rant a little bit, but maybe not just about quantum mechanics. Let me just rant a little. Um, I want to talk about beauty, physical beauty, and maybe how it connects to God and how it connects to morality and good and evil. And then again, I won't know the answer because these questions are all above my pay grade. I'm just asking them anyway. I've studied the phi is the golden ratio, and I've talked with a guy that was really good, smart guy, that we went to At the Cross in Oceanside, where I went to church. The pastor was Adam. I forget his last name, but that's probably okay. And there was a guy there named David that was really intelligent, that actually talked to me a lot about God and stuff. Very intelligent dude. He's the one that gave me some of this idea, so don't think I thought of this myself all completely. But I do have my own thoughts about it, but he helped me in this. That all of nature expresses the golden ratio near perfectly, and everything looks like everything else, and everything looks beautiful, except the human face. Human face is the ugliest thing in the universe, or at least in nature. It's the thing that can break the mirror. No, it can break the golden ratio more than anything else in nature. In other words, God, if he takes the time, can make an ugly face. But that's the point. The funny thing is, if he doesn't take the time, he leaves the face more close to the golden ratio, and the face is actually more beautiful. So is God participating in ugliness? Does that therefore make God evil? Or in the other way of looking at it, is God always have to be good, therefore beauty can be evil, therefore the most beautiful person can be the evil person? How do you figure that out? I mean, some really cool questions, but I'm not sure how to answer them, or if anybody could be trusted to answer them correctly. I like beauty myself, but I'm not God. I don't know everything. Now, I might be the Antichrist too, which would make me evil and God good. However, if God is evil and I like beauty, then the Antichrist might be good because God is evil, and so I might actually be good. You know, a lot of conundrums come from thinking. But if you don't think at all, you don't do anything sometimes. And I do read regularly. It's something about reading the physical word is important for how the brain works. Just listening to a video or listening to a book on tape is not the same as reading it. I didn't say it's worthless. It's just not the same. And I try to read regularly, so I keep the written word, in my experience. I don't know. I like beauty myself, and I'm not going to change my position on that very easily, or if at all, or if ever. And I don't want to. Why would it? But it does raise philosophical questions. Is God evil if the only thing he can do by taking more time to make something is make it more ugly? If he says, well, let's make that one haphazardly, that turns out to be beautiful because it's like the golden ratio. But if he takes his time, he messes it up and makes it ugly. So is ugliness good, or is God evil and beauty is good and God is evil? Or is God good and beauty is evil? I don't know. I just think there's something to this question. I just don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know what. And really, I like what I like anyway. Even if I'm evil, I still like me. If I'm good, I like me. If God's evil and I'm good, I like me. If I'm evil and God is good, I still like me. What do you want me to do? But I do think about these things. It's not like I just don't care or don't have any thought. In fact, they say that Jesus wasn't beautiful. He didn't need to have beauty. So did God work harder on him and make him ugly? And that's part of Jesus's goodness. And therefore God is good and Jesus is good and ugliness is good? I don't know. Or is that ugliness of Jesus an imperfection because Jesus would have had it too good to be beautiful? Doesn't mean that in that model, ugly beauty isn't wrong. It just would be too much for Jesus to get to have it all in one life, or too much to handle. I don't know. Whatever you want to, how you want to say that. I don't know. I just know there's something. I just think there's something to this. I like beauty myself. I think God should be lazy and make everything beautiful, but I'm not God if there's a God. And my idea of God is not necessarily right because I'm not God if there's a God. If there isn't a God, I'm still not God because there's no God to be. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my lesson. But talk on the double slit experiment this morning. I made a couple little mistakes, but I think I got the gist of it across. Actually, what happens is it's when the particles are observed, they act like when the electrons are observed, they act like particles. It's when they're not observed that they act like waves. So I might have said that backwards. It's actually, as long as you observe them, they make a decision which slit to go through. But when you don't observe them, they wash around like waves, and they interact and they interface and they entangle. They I forget what all the words are to say that. But then when you observe it, they decide to straighten up and have a determined choice, like as if they don't really have a set reality until you observe them, and then they either choose, or your observation causes them to have a certain value, which then determines what their value is. And not only that, you can let them go through unobserved and they'll wash out like waves, and then watch them later, and that will retroactively make them have gone through, that will make them such that they have already gone through as particles, because they got observed in the future, which affects how they went through even in the past. So even a future observation can change a past event. Not only can an observation change the present, it can actually change what happened in the past, at least from our way of looking at it. If the particles or electrons or whatever were not observed and they washed out across, and then a little bit later I look at it to see, what did they do? They'll say, oh, I guess we have to go back and make a choice, and that will actually change what already happened. Observation can even change what we say, or from our point of view, or from our way of thinking, has already happened, retroactively making them decide what you would think from linear time thought has already been done. So maybe the past is not really solid. Maybe the past is malleable. Is it as malleable as the future? I don't know. Is it not as malleable as the future, but still malleable? Maybe. But it doesn't seem to be fixed. maybe it just seems more malleable. Maybe it just seems more fixed to us, and maybe not. It may be just as malleable. I don't know. What do I know? Or maybe it is less malleable, but still malleable than the future. It's a lot of ways. There's even thoughts that time goes in both directions. If and from a quantum level, you actually can. The present does affect the past. We just don't notice it or experience it or understand it well enough to see it that way. What if it's symmetrical? What if what happens right now affects the past as much as it affects the future, which then the past would affect what happens now, which then would affect the future again. Feedback loop, feedback loop, feedback loop. Really weird. I don't know. I'm just talking. I try to keep my mind inquisitive without getting lost in possibility where I don't even know what I'm saying or thinking. Anyway, so that was the rant for the bed rant today. I wanted to clear up that little, I might have goofed a little bit technically on the double slit thing this morning. But the gist of it was what I kind of was trying to suggest, I think it was all right. I just had a little couple of the details of the experiment off a little bit. But I do like what I concluded about, not concluded, but maybe thought about God. You know, if consciousness can create, then yes, a God could have made us. But then again, if we can do that too, who's to say we needed to have that God? Who's to say that I might have not created myself in a different form a billion years ago or whatever? You don't know that. You don't know whether it was one person and or if that person was good. It could have been a bunch of scoundrels. All the physics shows is that consciousness can create. It doesn't say it has to be from one source, and doesn't say that source has to be good or love, as the Bible calls him, which I think is a crock. Anybody could write that about themselves. If I were the author of a book, why not say I am love? Who's gonna stop me? It's my book. God is love. Well, that says God. Well, and the evidence is how, easy to say, harder to be, harder to show. Anyway, love you guys. Peace, love, and nothing more.